Hey guys, what's happening? It's Friday, it's early afternoon after a bunch of running around this morning. We got a bodywork job we're going to do today. It rained probably 3 or 4 inches this week. Got a little bit of grass cut in between, but that was about it. No landscaping this week. It's like a muddy mess out there. You can still see I got a good mud puddle here. But we got one of that kind. Oh yeah. And you see there's no rear bumper on it, and I'll show you what we got. That rear bumper cover damage here, and we're not going to replace the cover, we're going to repair what we got. It's not terrible. We're pushed in a little bit here and we got a pretty good crack in it. So we're going to see what we can do with this and go ahead and go from there. This is a used car type of deal. This is not a brand new car. This is a 09, I think. So it is newer, but it's not real new. This is an aftermarket Kappa certified bumper cover. It's been changed once, so let's see, get that to go down. See the yellow tag there? So, sorry about the earthquake cam. So anyway, we're going to get this washed up, wiped down real quick. Looks like we got some funkiness going on there. I've got to take this black trim off the bottom. I could be a cheat and just tape it off, but I'm not going to. Still in okay shape, nothing really bad wrong with it. Got a little scratcher over there. That might just be a scuff. I'll try and get rid of it before I do too much prep work. But I'm going to show you guys what we've got to repair that, and then we'll take you through the repair steps on how I do them. We've got, move some stuff out of the way here. You got this kind right here. This is 142. This is fast set plastic bumper repair adhesive. I've used this before. I've also used, I don't have much of it, that's why I bought a different one, but this is Fusor 100 EZ. This is also for repairs. There's not a whole lot in this. This is a heat set type. There's just that little bit left in there, so I don't know if I have enough to even get through the job. But we've got either one of those products will work. Also, you've got this stuff here. I've had it for a couple years. It's like a mesh. And I will sit you guys down here for a second and take it out of the package and show you what we got. But basically it's just a reinforcing mesh, and then that plastic is just kind of a backer thing. It's not part of the repair material, it's just this white stuff here, and you smash that into the repair after you fix it. So the first well, also I got some other goodies. Let's not get too far away here. I got some really nice spray out cards today. These are those are metal spray out cards. And I got this kind of paint. I went through the matrix deck, and because I think somebody's been into this car before and painted an entire bumper, our color's off. They just picked something that was a close match and went with it because it was a bumper. I went through the matrix deck and nothing was close to it, which means that bumper isn't very close to the car probably. So I went with this. The code is 8M6. And I just got a pint. It's in a quart, but it's only half full. This will be enough for that repair. And this is a 2-to-1 base coat. It's kind of a doesn't cover as quick, but this is the same brand that I did the gold on the bottom of my Super Duty with. Same manufacturer, and it works good. Sometimes it doesn't cover as fast, but it'll work for this job. The blues, it's not a real transparent blue. It's a it doesn't have really any metallic in it. It's got some mica in it, so mica's real fine. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not, but I also need to shake it up, but you can see the black streaking in there because it isn't shaken up, but it's real fine. There's no coarse metallic in it or any fine aluminums or anything like that. So the problem I was having with it, this is a great straight on match, but the flop is off, and all of the other variant chips I picked, Matrix, I tried De Beer, I tried a bunch of other ones. The flop was awful on them. So this one, the flop is off a little bit, but the dead-on face is pretty good. So we're just going to go with this. And another product I use here, after we get the repair done and the structural integrity back in that spot on the bumper with the Fusor repair material, this 142 here. I like this stuff. Bumpers are kind of one of those things that's taboo. Most guys will replace them. I fix them just because they get banged up a lot with this fleet of cars that I work on. So this is a flexible polyester putty works on bumpers and plastic and things like that. It says it has it's really easy sanding without clogging the sandpaper, but that's bullshit. This stuff clogs the sandpaper bad for me. Even if you hit it with some 80 real quick. So it's not easy sanding, but gives a nice feather edge. So we're going to use that. And what I'm going to do here before I start, I'm going to wash this bumper cover down. And then I'm going to take this plastic off. Actually, I'll take the plastic off first, then I'm going to wash the bumper. But after I get done with that, and this is all nice and cleaned up, I'm going to take the DA with some 180, and I'm going to chase this crack that goes back to here to make sure that it's just a paint crack and it's not a structural crack. The other thing that pisses me off about this bumper cover, I don't know who painted this bumper cover, but this rubbed the tail light and it chipped. I mean, this paint isn't even holding on. I can pick this paint off with my fingernail, which worries me that I won't be able to feather it back. I think this paint that's on this bumper was not prepped right. So we're just going to do the best that we can with it and keep our fingers crossed. So I'll bring you back once I get this bumper cover cleaned up and we're ready to do some work on it. Alright guys, so I've got this bumper washed up and got all of the trim off of it and everything. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's a crack that goes through here and it's kind of pushed down. This is the back side, obviously. I've got a heat gun in here, and of course I got it wrapped up around the tripod, so hold on a second here. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the heat gun and I'm going to warm this up a little bit because I've got part of that crack that's pushed out. I just grabbed this part and pushed and it popped right back in, but this part's pretty bad and that crack's going down to here. So what we'll do first is get the plastic aligned, and then I'll go ahead and show you the next step here. Now hopefully this will pop back into place pretty simply. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I'm going to get it nice and warm and pliable. And the plastic has a memory. It should go back unless it's been folded over in half. You know, this isn't that bad. This is a puncture wound. Let's see how much I have to heat before I get carried away. Yeah, I need to heat that one part pretty good there. It's got a good ripple in it. If you start to smell something burning, you've got it too hot. Try that. You can just keep heating it and trying it and see how pliable it gets. I almost feel like I have to push part of this rip out. There we go. To get it to come back to where I need it. Sometimes these things will really, really fight you. Of course. Sometimes it acts like, oh, there we go. Sometimes it'll act like the puzzle doesn't want to go back together, but puzzle is back together. I'll show you that up close. But basically, I have this crack that's coming around here. There's a little tiny rip in front of my finger that joins it to a point, and then it started to crack down through there. And there's a line that goes over here. There is broken paint on the outside. I think this flexed real hard and then popped back. That's the instruction sticker that was on this bumper. This is an aftermarket. It says right there, replacement for Prius, right there. Made in, yeah. But it ought to work good for this. This is how I know it's somebody's been there, done that. It's already got a sticker in it. It says replacement part. It's got a tag on it. If it was a factory bumper, it wouldn't have any of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and flip it over here, and I'm going to look at the outside and see what it looks like. See if it's what I'm looking for here. Actually not too bad. What I'll probably do, you can see the carnage here. It's not too terrible, but this is that crack on the inside that I was talking about that you can barely see. And then it goes up here, and that's that area I was trying to work back. There's a little bit of a bump in it there, which I can probably heat up and push around, which I'll do. And this is real close. So we're going to work on the inside of this first, and I'll show you what the next step is. I got to find another battery for this camera. This one's about done, so I'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, so we're ready to get this roughed up for the repair. I can clearly see where the crack is in this. It's as close as I can get it for right now. So what I'm going to do with the Fusor 142 bumper repair material, they want an 80 grit scratch in this. They don't say anything about dishing it out. I will dish it out a little bit just because that's kind of the way I'm accustomed to doing it. If it's a bad area like over in here, this really isn't that bad, but I'm going to put reinforcing mesh across the whole back of this. So we're going to start with get the DA out here, and we're going to start with a piece of 80. And we're going to grind into that. Now I have already cleaned that down. I do not use wax and grease remover on a plastic bumper because sometimes that'll continue to pull the oils out of the plastic. I use like a waterborne panel wipe, and then they also suggest before you put your repair material on to put some sort of adhesion promoter. Lord Fusor has their own one that they have. I'm going to use a rattle can type that is not that. Your results may vary. I've never had problems with it. I've never had a repaired bumper cover come back. And these, a lot of these jobs that I do are still on the road. So we know that it works. Mosey out of the way here so you guys can see and I can do the work. So we're just going to take this and go ahead and rough it up. Now you don't want to stay in one spot. I'll turn you back on when the compressor stops. Alright, sorry about the air compressor noise. I kind of kept going while the air compressor was running. But basically what I was starting to say is don't stay in any one spot for very long. You want it rough, but the more heat you generate, all you're doing is smearing plastic around. So I've taken the DA with 80 grit and gone around the whole area that I will repair and taken all the gloss off of it. I got a little bit more to do, which I'll do right now. This is not one of those cases where it's detrimental to run your DA on the side. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's far enough. Like I said, I did a little bit of that off camera real quick just to keep going with it. I'm going to try not to make this video a marathon series here. So that's what you've got. Let me zoom back out here for you. So here's the big crack that runs up here. There's the little bitty crack that joins it. And then there's a crack paint area on the outside, so we know this flexed. I'm just gonna bring the patch over it. It's probably not necessary, but I'll do it anyway. And I'm gonna take my little roll-lock disc, and I'm gonna dish into this just a little bit. This one I'm not gonna worry about because it's not completely broken. I may just scuff into it so I know where it's at. But I'm gonna dish that out just a tiny bit, even though they don't say that you have to. It's kind of hard to break old habits, I guess. I've always done it this way. I've always used those adhesives, and again, never had a failure. And you kind of want to feather the trigger on your grinder if this is the way you choose to do it, so you don't generate a lot of heat, move around pretty quick. The other thing this will help you do is see exactly where that crack That's still nice and rough. Now, from here on out, I will not put any sort of solvent, or, not that I did in the first place, but any kind of material to wipe this. I'll blow it with compressed air because it's as clean as it's gonna get. Saw something I missed. That's as far as I'm going to take this. The next thing I will do, I'll take some adhesion promoter and shoot on this, and I'll show you that here in a second. We'll get that out of the cabinet and dust a little of that on. I've done it both ways and not used it, and also had success. So we'll go get some, I'm gonna use, I don't know if I'll use Bulldog. Let me see if I got something in a rattle can here so that we don't have to turn this into a marathon here. All the adhesion promoters I've ever used are all non-catalyzed type products. I just may not have any. It's very conceivable that I don't. Normally I use a product called Bulldog, which I do have in the cabinet. I just didn't want to dirty up a gun if I didn't have to. But yeah, I got the Bulldog out already. It looks like we're going to have to use Bulldog because we don't have anything else, which is fine. So we'll get some of that in the gun and we'll give that a little squirt, and then we'll let that set about 20 minutes. So I'll just put that in a little touch-up gun here. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Adhesion promoter. So we'll use that. So we'll put a little bit of that in the old gun here. And this goes on kind of a medium wet coat, and that's all you need. Doesn't take much. All right, we'll let that flash off, and when that flashes off, that's all we did, just get a little on there to get it sticky. So when that flashes off, we'll be ready to put our plastic repair adhesive on. Like I said, I've done this both ways before and not used the adhesion promoter before, but in these instructions, I always read them even though I use it all the time because they tend to change instructions. They say for a backing patch, use 80 grit sandpaper to sand around the puncture on the back and apply a light coat of adhesion promoter or plastic surface modifier and allow that to dry. And then go ahead and cut your reinforcing mesh large enough to cover the entire repair area. I like to let that repair mesh go maybe 2 or 3 inches beyond the repair. I don't know that it's necessary. This is not a hole we're filling. It just pushed the plastic through and ripped it. So we're just going to put 1 layer on the outside, or I'm sorry, on the inside of the bumper. And then you go ahead and put your panel repair adhesive for the bumper right over that, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Alright, we're ready to go here. That adhesion promoter is flashed off. I've got the Fusor 142 bumper repair adhesive. I've taken the cap off of it and we're going to purge a little bit out of this. Make sure both products are coming out. Notice we just have black and there comes the brown. Okay, go ahead and put our mixing tip on there. Maybe. Collar on that holds the mixing tip. Tighten it down. Now, I'm going to put 2 or 3 inches on this board just to make sure it's. Oh, there we go. Make sure it's coming out of the mixing tip. You can cut the tip bigger if you want it bigger. I said I'd put 2 or 3 inches on the board. I wanted to just get some out now. We've got a couple of spreaders cut open here, ready to go. Cut open, listen to me, I don't know what the hell I'm saying here. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to cover this area with that adhesive. I've got my mesh cut and we're going to embed that into that wet adhesive. Now they make a roller for it. I don't own it. I'm going to start with the crack first. I'm just going to lay some beads of this around. I don't know that there's a proper or improper way to do this, but what I will do, first of all, I've gone way large with this patch. It probably doesn't need to be half this size, but I really don't want it to come back. There's 90 seconds work time on this, so it's go time. Okay, now that we've got some down, we'll go ahead and put our mesh down. A little bit more, I get quite big enough on this side. Truthfully, this is not something you really want to screw around with because this is the fast set. So, get it on and get it done. It's not going to hurt anything if a little of that mesh shows through your adhesive that you're putting on there. You just want it pressed down into that first coat. The second little bit that I put on top of it is probably not 100% necessary, if necessary at all. We're going to stop messing with it right there because it's already started to kick. That's kind of where I'm at with it. If I decide to dress up these edges, I can add a little bit to it, but it's not going to look beauteous on the back. So that's where we're at. That's covering the repair. We'll bring you back for the front side. Alright, I flipped the bumper cover over. That back has been almost 20 minutes already setting. It's about 70 degrees here in the shop. Now we can see what we got on the front side, the beauty side. We got this as close as we could, but it's a little uneven. The trick is to get this seam the best you can, and it'll make for less work down the road. But we're going to take some 80 grit on the DA, and we're going to strip the paint from around this crack, and we're going to see what this is going on over here. You can just sort of see a faint line of it. Another one of those instances where you're not going to be using the DA flat. Just going to be chasing this crack around and finding what's what. And it does appear that that's a good thing I covered that crack because it comes down to that body line right there. I'm just taking a hand block and kind of going around the outside. I got one little spot of paint along my crack here in a couple spots that I want to make sure that I block flat. We're going to take the grinder and we're going to dish that down a little bit, because for an exterior repair they want a little depth to it. Now we don't need this very big, and what I will do is after I put this filler on there, the repair adhesive, and let it cure, I will sand it, and then I will put a polyester putty over this for plastic bumper covers, just because it's easier to sand than that plastic stuff. So you could take your DA and you could dig into those cracks and dish them out, or you could do it like I'm going to do it. Make sure you find the whole crack. Well, that's what happens when you get it too warm. It starts to ball up like that. So you want to kind of keep moving. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue on and dish all that out, and I will go back over with the 80 grit just because this is faster, but I want that 80 grit tooth for what they call for in that. So we'll bring you back in a minute. Alright guys, this area, you saw me sanding it, getting it all ready to apply the Lord Fusor bumper repair material. I put adhesion promoter on this off camera. You saw me do the back. You see what that entails. We've got it feathered out just a little bit, not crazy. I'm not going to have filler way out into there if I can help it. Everything feels good. We got a little funkiness right in here, but we're going to go ahead and get that ready, and we'll put a smear on that. Of course, we have to change the mixing tip, and I'm standing off camera, I apologize, but I cut a little bit bigger opening in this one so I can get the material on the panel faster. I'll go ahead and purge that gun again. Okay, got the spreader there. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to coat this entire area because there is a little wave to it, but mostly where my problem is right where I'm laying this material right now. We're just going to put a thin wipe over everything to cover it up because I can sand this. It's probably way too much, but we'll find out. I'm also going to bring my mixing board right next to where I'm working, so if I have too much, I can get it on the board, get it out of the way. So just like any other filler, go ahead and press it down on your first wipe. And this stuff is not going to spread like regular body filler. I'm going to go right to the edge of my feather edge. Remember, this is the fast set that I'm using. It's got a 90-second work time, so there's no playing around with it to get it right. Get it on there the best you can. You're going to sand it off or sand it flush. reason I keep the board around is because not only may you get too much on there, but you can use it to put on one side of your spreader and get it the way you want it. And we're going to go ahead and pretty much leave it like this. It's not beautiful. It doesn't feather edge real easy when you're trying to spread it out with a spreader. So we've got the areas that needed to be filled. I'm going to let that set 20 minutes. You guys can see that. This stuff spreads like shit. It's got lines all in it, but I'm going to hit it with some 80 grit on the DA and knock it flat. And then that Polyflex filler can go over sanded paint, so we're going to go ahead and follow the instructions. I believe you can do a 180 into the sanded paint and then go ahead and put that Polyflex filler on it. This is just kind of my insurance step. I probably could have went to the flexible filler. I've done it before. I just kind of like to do things by the instructions or the best of my ability when I'm doing a show and tell kind of deal. So we're going to let that kick off, and then we're going to hit it with the DA. Alright guys, I got this roughed in here real quick. I didn't show me sanding it on camera. I started with some 80 grit and it was picking up the edges of it, so I let it set another 25 minutes. It's about 75 degrees in here, so it's setting up pretty good. I got it sort of roughed in, but it's still not giving me good feather edges, and I got to get back home. I got some stuff to do tonight, so I'm just going to let this set overnight. I'm going to finish going at it with 180 here. It's powdering up all right, but I've been monkeying around with doing a bunch of other things today, so I want to start fresh on this in the morning. But we'll get this down to where it's a little bit low, or as flush as we can get it, and then I'll go ahead and sand around the outsides with some, probably I'll take it out to 180 and I'll wipe that. And then we'll block that Polyflex with 180 after I put it on and finish it in 320. So I'm going to get this one cheeched up for you, and we'll start fresh tomorrow. Hope you guys had a good one today. See ya.